Hey, what is up, guys? It's Nine back again with another new video, and today we are once again talking about keybinds. Now, this is something I haven't talked about before on my channel. I actually have a dedicated video exactly on how you should find your keybinds, and this isn't any sort of replacement video, but more so a video going over the new keybinds that I have found because within the last week, I've had to really radically readjust the keybinds that I've been using for a while. So this is just something I wanted to put out there to bounce ideas off of people and see what you guys think of what some might consider pretty unusual keybinds, let's just say. Now, for backstory, for the last 2 years, I've been playing games on a Razer Orb Weaver Chroma. Now, the Razer Orb Weaver Chroma isn't necessarily a normal gaming keyboard. It's basically like a one-handed gaming keypad, and the why I was using that is a different story. But the thing is, now I recently got a normal 10 keyless gaming keyboard, the Logitech G Pro with the GX blue clicky switches. Now, because of this, I've had to radically readjust my keybinds. My muscle memory is completely different. The way I use my fingers is completely different because the shape of the Orb Weaver was to be like something super ergonomic, and it had a ton of thumb buttons and angled keycaps. It was a very cool thing, but I knew that eventually I would have to swap to a normal keyboard, and so these are the keybinds that I have swapped now that I'm on this normal keyboard, and this is just something that I've been practicing and using, and I think this is going to be the final keybinds because I was changing them up so much the first few days. Like the first 2-3 days, I was just constantly changing it every day to find what works, find what's useful. And now I think I've pretty much come to what I will be sticking with for the most part. So we could just get right into it. So in terms of movement keybinds, I got pretty standard on the WASD. That's just pretty normal for me. When it comes to my abilities, okay, now ability 1, I have the 4 key, so that would be normally what you have your C ability on. So I used to have it on C, I used to hit it with my index finger, and now I still hit the 4 key with my index finger, but instead of hitting C, obviously I hit the 4 key. Now this is because as you'll see later, I use my C key for something different. But really important to note is for all my keybinds that I actually play with my keyboard at a 45-degree angle tilted in a clockwise direction. So that means the left side of the keyboard is pushed upward. And a lot of people play like this. If you watch a lot of FPS pros or whatever, you'll see that a lot of them play with their keyboard like this. Now this is really essential for me because it allows me to hit a lot more buttons with my thumb that I literally just cannot hit if I have my keyboard in the standard horizontal position. So having it at that 45-degree angle clockwise is absolutely crucial for the keybinds that I go over today. Now, besides for 4 for my ability 1 or my C ability, I have my other 2 abilities, which would normally be your E and Q ability. I have those on my thumb buttons. I have mouse button 4 for my shock darts, which would be your Q ability, I believe, and mouse button 5 for my recon dart, which would be your E ability. Now, I've been using thumb buttons on my mouse for the longest time for my Sova abilities and all my agent abilities. It just feels really comfortable. I have full range of motion when I'm pulling out and using my abilities, so that's why I really like having them there. I have my ultimate on F instead of X, something that I just definitely prefer, and that is it for my abilities. Now when we start to get into the other things, okay, I have, let's see here. Oh, for jump, I have spacebar and mouse wheel down. That's what I've been doing with forever. I pretty much never use the spacebar to jump. I literally only use it for when I'm playing Jet, because if you're playing Jet, you sometimes need to hover and you can't hover with the mouse wheel. So definitely that's why I still have it double bounded between spacebar and mouse wheel down. But mouse wheel down, a lot more consistent and a lot more fun to use. And then this is kind of where it gets a little bit weird. I actually have my crouch on C and I hit that with my thumb, which is actually pretty easy when you have your keyboard tilted to the side. And for me, honestly, I tried using crouch on control, but I just literally can't do it in a in any sort of fast or consistent way. And if you're in the heat of a gunfight, you don't want to be thinking about what keybinds you're hitting. So definitely crowd control just didn't work for me. No matter how I position on my hand, I just can't get control to work. So C definitely feels really comfortable because once again, I can keep my fingers on the WASD and I can hit that crouch key with my thumb. So I still have full range of motion when I'm using my crouch, even though you're not really moving too much when using your crouch. That's still just something that I like having. And then anything interesting here? Toggle crouch, I have that on off. For equipment, I have my primary weapon on 1, my knife on 3, and my secondary on mouse wheel up. Mouse wheel up just feels really good for pulling out my pistol. I don't like having it on the 2 key like I had before, because the 2 key, to hit that comfortably, I would have to use my middle finger, and if I use my middle finger, that means I move it off of W, and I don't like taking my finger off W because once again, I like to have full range of motion when I'm equipping guns, when I'm equipping abilities, swapping to my knife, all that stuff. I try my best to have full range of motion when I'm doing as much things as possible. So trying to keep my fingers on WASD at all times is definitely something that I actively try to do. So mouse wheel up feels really good for my secondary, and then 1 and 3 key I hit with my ring finger and my index finger respectively. And then when it comes to equip spike, I have on 5. Now this would normally be 4, but once again, 4 I use for one of my abilities, so I just shift the spike over to 5, which is fine. Drop equipped item, I have on G. Last equipped item, something people don't use very often unless you're from CSGO, then this feels very familiar. On Q, that obviously just uses whatever you had last equipped. So if I pull out my knife, what I had last equipped was my phantom. If I tap Q, I pull out my phantom. Now this is a really good keybind if you're an opper, because you can swap between your op and your knife much faster, in my opinion, than if you're using 1 and 3. So you know, you can take an op shot, then quickly swap to your knife and reposition fast. Definitely faster than what you could do with 1 and 3 in my opinion. So that's definitely a keybind I like to use. Even though I don't really opt, it's still a keybind that feels really comfortable for me, and just something you can definitely try out in your games. Inspect weapon I have on B, which isn't a very important keybind. I hit that with my thumb. And for voice chat, where is it? I have, oh wait, no, communication. I have N and V. V is my main push to talk key for team push to talk, and N is for party push to talk, which I don't really use that much. V key, that's something I think a lot of people use for voice chat, but I don't know if a lot of people hit that key with their thumb. It feels really comfortable for me because my finger naturally rests on the V key with the way my hand is positioned. My hand doesn't naturally rest on the spacebar, so the V key just feels pretty good for me for using voice chat. So yeah, but I think a lot of people actually use like their index finger to hit the V key, and I think that's really inefficient to be hitting your voice chat key with your index finger, because sometimes you need to be moving to the right when you're using voice chat, right? You're not always standing still when you're using voice chat. So I think using a keybind that you can hit with either your thumb or your pinky so that you can keep your fingers on WASD is pretty essential when using your voice chat. And that's pretty much it for the keybinds. Yeah, I didn't want to make this a long video, but these are the keybinds I've been using now that I've swapped over to a normal keyboard. I know it might seem pretty damn weird for some people, but I'm really curious what keybinds you guys actually use. Do you guys use something similar to me? Do you guys use all default? I know a lot of people just use all the default keys, and I find that really difficult and really weird, honestly. But if you guys do that, tell me about it in the comments. If you guys have any questions about my binds, you can ask me in the comments and I'll answer you guys. But yeah, just a little quick video on keybinds because I like to talk about nerdy stuff and nerdy settings, and that's why I make videos like this, and sometimes people watch them. I don't know why. Sometimes I like to believe it's because they like me. But that's it for me, guys, on this little video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. In the next episode. I was gonna say upload, but then E came out of my mouth. Yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next episode of 9 Killers YouTube channel. Alright, later, guys.